400 kilometers, about 1% of French Guiana. Coming up on 2 minutes to go to launch of the 98th Ariane 5 mission. And inside mission control, very shortly, the VIPs and the invited guests will begin to make their ways outside to watch the liftoff. You know, if you've been here, there are two terraces on either side of the building that give a fine view onto the pad. Ariane 5's flight path takes her from the pad. She flies right over our heads. This split screen shot shows the propellant feeder arms in the middle of the launcher, liquid hydrogen on the left, liquid oxygen on the right. We're going to pull back in just a second, give you a better look. They're putting fuel into the upper stage tanks, and you'll see these arms pull back at 7 seconds before ignition. There they are, the yellow bars in the middle, going from the gantry into the upper stage. So one of the last things you'll see at liftoff, we just like to point it out. Well, we are ready, 1:20 to go, for the third launch of the year for Arianespace. All the tests and the campaigns to prepare the launcher, the satellites on the base, are over.
À tous de DDO, attention pour -1 minute.
And the DDO is going to call out the 1 minute mark.
Top, H0 -1 minute.
So everything that's done has been done. Give us a chance in the final 60 seconds to say hi to our friends at Sky Perfect JSAT in Tokyo, to our friends at Orbital ATK out in Virginia, and to our friends at Avanti in London. Also to our industrial partners, ESA and CNES, and to all of you following on the internet. We hope you're enjoying the evening. We're going to cut away, let you listen to the DDO. He will call out the final countdown. Watch for the cryogenic arms to open. That sets the ball rolling. Enjoy the liftoff, everybody.
À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage du Vulcain. Allumage des EAP, décollage. La propulsion est nominale.
And right on time, as the DDO says all is normal on board, Ariane 5 began her mission, leaving the ground here in French Guiana with a roar of the engines, a lot of fire, and with 2 new satellites.
Paramètres bord sont normaux, la propulsion est nominale.
Everything okay on board, the DDO says. The 2 boosters are providing 90% of our thrust right now, propelling the launcher along her trajectory as she reaches into the open sky above the clouds at an ever higher velocity. 774 tons at liftoff, remember, and to get that sort of mass off the ground, you need a lot of push, and push we have. She's burning 5 tons of fuel every second, 2.5 tons in each booster, plus the core stage burning another 300 kilos per second.
Les paramètres bord sont normaux.
Ariane 5 now following the program in the onboard computer, which gives all the orders, including stage separations, which we will soon see. At 1.5 minutes into the flight, we're in the first of 4 flight phases. We'll describe each in turn so you can follow. Right now, the first flight phase, the single first stage engine and the 2 boosters are burning. You can see on the animation. The boosters will each consume their 240 tons in just over 2 minutes, and they're the first to be extinguished. You'll hear that from the DDO as well. This first flight phase using both cryogenic fuel and storable propellant in a mix. Cryogenic propulsion offering certain advantages like better and more precise performance. You can turn it off and on. Its motors also function longer. Now there's a nice shot. We may see separation. There is a separation of the boosters, looks like. The flame out. DDO has confirmed it. You see the central white point of light, that's the core engine continuing to burn, and the 2 orange lights on either side, those are the boosters flaming out. This is what it looks like up there As they drop, there's another booster on the port side, which is out of camera range. They fall 500 kilometers from shore into a protected area. French Guiana was in part chosen as a base for its opening on the water, launches posing no threat to the local population. We'll have more on that a bit later on, as the DDO continues to say all is well on board. For now, on the bottom of your screen, our altitude on the left and our speed on the right. The speed we need for satellite separation is, anybody know? Sure you do. 9 kilometers per second, or if you prefer, 9,000 kilometers an hour.
La trajectoire est nominale.
Fairing separation coming right on time, revealing our two satellites to the elements. There's another half of the fairing on the starboard side, which is, of course, out of camera range. We can separate the fairing now because we're out of the dense layers of the atmosphere, over 100 kilometers up. So there's neither friction nor heating, which could disturb the passengers. We can also get rid of any dead weight, which to maximize the launcher's performance, and the fairing weighs almost 2.5 tons. And speaking of weight, Ariane 5 is the heavy lift launcher, Soyuz lifting middle-sized payloads, and Vega missions of 1 ton, roughly. A first look at our first passenger coming up, a film on DSN Superbird. Information going all the way back to the very first launch of the Ariane 1, which was, as you all remember, Christmas Eve, 1979. Next up will be confirmation of 3 events: extinction of the lower stage. You see the blue flame at the extreme left. That will shut down. And we'll have separation of the lower stage, and you'll see that on the animation as well. And then we will have ignition of the upper stage. And the DDO has confirmed the extinction and separation right on time, about 160 kilometers up. And there we have ignition of the upper stage. All these commands given by the onboard computer, which is in the upper stage, in about 13 seconds. The lower stage falls into the Atlantic off the Gulf of Guinea. So, we are now into the third and final powered flight phase, the single upper stage engine that will burn until plus 2508, another 16 minutes roughly. The job of the upper stage, you are asking? Good question. Well, we look at broadcasting and a wide range of entertainment. As they mentioned, 3 million subscribers. Superbird-8 built by Melco, Mitsubishi Electric Corporation, manufacturing management by NEC Corporation. DSN-1 Superbird-8 is the 19th Sky-Perfect JSAT satellite launched by Arianespace. The last launch for the company back in December 2016, that was Flight 234, that was JSAT 15. DSN-1 Superbird-8 arrived here in French Guiana on February 6th and was taken to the S5 satellite facilities here at the space base for its first tests. All that preparation usually takes about a month. You heard some of that in the launcher campaign. There are 2 more Sky-Perfect JSAT satellites in the Arianespace order book. Turning to HYLAS 4, our next film takes a look at a satellite. 7 versions of it are available, ranging in height from just under 5 meters to about 6.5 meters. Tonight we're using the long version. And there on the animation you can see
Séparation du système de lancement double Ariane.
Silda separation, and the DDO confirms it. The Silda pushed away from the mothership, what's left of the 774 tons, by a series of springs, revealing HYLAS 4 to the elements. And remember, our mass at liftoff, 774 tons. What's left of that? What's left of that, do you think, as we wait separation of HYLAS? Take a look. The vehicle lost 240 tons of fuel in each booster 2 minutes after liftoff, used up all the 175 tons of propellant in the first stage, lost another 14 tons of dry mass. That was the lower stage. The first passenger, 5 tons. The Silda, 500 kilos. So what's left of 774 tons? The upper stage, that's the white band on the composite, empty of fuel, 4 tons, down from 19 tons when fueled. The vehicle equipment bay, 1 ton. HYLAS 4, 4 tons. And its adapter, 100 kilos. Roughly what do you got? 8, 9 tons. 9 tons placed on orbit, down from 774 tons to get them there. So most of her weight, you have realized, is propellant. Waiting for confirmation of our second passenger, HYLAS 4, a moment of high concentration as we await the DDO's announcement. The mood here in Jupiter is, I would say, very focused. You can see it on the faces.
Séparation du satellite HYLAS 4.
So you heard the applause and you heard the good news. Ariane 5 has delivered her second passenger, HYLAS 4, out over the Indian Ocean. So from those, don't want to say tense, but focused minutes just moments ago, you see the change here in Jupiter, all smiles, very buoyant across the Space Center and at all the points and posts where people are following the launcher and the satellite work, just beginning, or soon will be, of course, at the different ground stations and at other sites around the world where the satellite's first maneuvers are being monitored. And those first maneuvers include acquisition from Ninghi Station, that's in Australia. First apogee firing, there will be 5 of those, April 7th. Solar array and appendages deployment, April 15th. There's the animation showing pushed away, just like the Silda, with the same series of springs. Start of in-orbit testing, April 19th. We are awaiting the traditional post-separation speeches as we watch the smiles and the handshakes and the congratulations. While we're waiting, we asked the question earlier, why 8 kilometers a second is the speed necessary for satellite separation? Anybody get that? Well, of course, you know the simple reason is that the minimum of 7.8 kilometers per second is required for the satellite to escape and not fall back to Earth. So, if you got that right answer, give yourself a round of applause, and you get to hear the speeches. The podium being set up for our speakers. We'll be hearing from Stefan Israel of Arianespace, of course. Then from Koki Koyama of Sky Perfect JSAT, I do believe. Hiroshi Ishibasi of NEC. David Bestwick of Avanti Communications. Michael Larkin of Orbital ATK. And perhaps from the Japanese Defense Ministry. Some of these people seated on the VIP side of Jupiter, but Stefan Israel has been working on the inside and will shortly be making his way out to join us on this side of the glass. For now, he's shaking hands, receiving and offering congratulations from all participants in the launch, from the satellite operators and from the builders and from the people here at CNES. Stefan Israel making his way to the podium. His voice will be the next you hear.
So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Arianespace is delighted to announce that DSN-1, Superbird-8 and HYLAS 4 have been separated as planned on the targeted geostationary transfer orbits. For our third launch of the year, Ariane 5 performed flawlessly. Congratulations to all. Tonight, Ariane 5 delivered for 2 major customers. With DSN-1 Superbird-8 in upper position, we are proud to help providing civilian and defense satellite communication services for the Japan's market and Japan's Ministry of Defense. DSN-1 Superbird-8 is the 19th payload launched by Arianespace for Sky Perfect GSAT since 1989. We have 2 more satellites in our backlog, Horizon 3E and GCSat 17, and we look forward to further opportunities. So many thanks to our customer Sky Perfect GSAT for your trust, in particular to Mr. Yasuzato, project manager at the Japan Ministry of Defense, and to Mr. Koki Koyama, board director and senior managing executive officer at Sky Perfect GSAT. In lower position, HYLAS 4 will deliver high-speed satellite communications to internet service providers, governments, mobile network, and satellite operators across Europe. With the launch of this high-throughput satellite, Arianespace is also proud to help providing services in regions such as West and Central Africa. I wish to highlight the presence tonight of David Bestwick, Avanti Communications CTO. Thanks to Avanti for your trust. Indeed, HYLAS-4 is the third Avanti satellite put into orbit, all using Arianespace launch service solutions. It's a good example for other customers. Beyond the HYLAS-4 auxiliary payload to be launched by Arianespace, I am sure we will have further opportunities together. Congratulations to NEC Corporation and Mitsubishi Electric Corporation who built the SN1 Superbird-8 and to all the partners involved in this important project for Japan. Congratulations also to Orbital ATK who built HYLAS-4. 28 Orbital ATK satellites have now been launched by Arianespace since 1992. I must say that we have 2 more Orbital ATK payloads in our backlog, including the innovative in-orbit servicing MEV-2 spacecraft. Many thanks to Orbital ATK for this long-lasting partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, this third flight of the year is also the 98th launch of an Ariane 5. With tonight's flight, Arianespace has exceeded the 200 satellite launch aboard an Ariane 5 vehicle. What an achievement. So I wish to congratulate all our partners for tonight's success. ESA and all the member states of the Ariane program whose support is essential. Ariane Group, Ariane 5 Prime and parent company of Arianespace. CNES, Ariane 5 Design Authority and our daily partner here in the Guyana Space Center, our contractors in French Guiana and all employees at the launch facility. Of course, I want to pay my tribute to all my Arianespace colleagues for the latest success of an Ariane vehicle. I would now like to welcome to the stage our customers and partners. Thank you very much.